everybody. Welcome to day 53. We are now in the book of James. If you have not been following us, yesterday we just finished chapter 9 to 13 of Hebrews. And today I'll be reading from James 1, verse 12 to 15. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me, for God cannot be tempted by evil. Nor does he tempt anyone. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desires and enticed. Then after desires has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it's fully grown, gives birth to death. Now, my thoughts on that is, as a Christian, like a fairly new Christian, I find it hard to think about like a sinful life, or like even like reflecting on like what sin is. But it's something that is super important to know. It's something super important to be like, this is the sin. It's been pointed out. Like, I feel like God will point out what sinful ways is in your life and will tell you to cut it out. But to have that thought of like, oh, even Jesus was tempted and yet he did not fall, he did not sin. That was in Matthew. And I was just like, wow, like that's so true. So there is still the temptation. Like, the enemy will always try to tempt you, but that doesn't mean that you fall under it. That doesn't mean that you go by it. But my question is, what does it mean to, follow those desires and fall into evil and conceive sin?
Yeah. Well, James makes it very well. He talks about the relationship of these three, the desires, the sin, and the death, in a way where he's going from the cause then and the way to the consequence. So the cause here, first of all, he says temptations are there, tests are going to be there, but do not give those tests credit to God.
Right.
Because God does not tempt anybody in an evil way, a way that leads to death.
Right.
And he says our desires, they conceive and they give birth to a child called sin. And this child grows up. When he grows up, then he gives birth to death. Many times we will think about the consequence, but James wants to bring to light the cause of this spiritual death. It starts with the desires. We want to do this. We want to satisfy our flesh. We want to follow our ways. See, the desires in our hearts. And he's just simply saying, whatever your desires are, they have consequence. But when they are evil, they will give birth to sin. You don't start with the action. It starts with the inner thoughts, the desires, then it goes to the actions, and the evil actions lead to destruction. So he's giving us this picture so we can know how to deal with our lives, aligning them with the will of the Father. So we need to always look at the inner person of ourselves, our desires, our plans, our budgeting, our visions, and everything we plan to do. Who are they about? And who is the measure that we use to say this is right, this is wrong? Is it your culture that says this is right, this is wrong? Is it your parents, or is it the ways of the Lord, the Word of God? Yeah, that's how I understand this picture that James gives and how it goes from the cause, action, and consequence.
That's awesome. All right, everybody. That's it for day 53. We'll see you in day 54.